Hello everyone, and welcome to 102 Hours, your go-to channel for deep dives into the darkest and most mysterious true crime stories. I'm glad you're here with us today because we're about to explore one of the most chilling and enigmatic cases in American history. A story that has haunted investigators, terrified communities, and fascinated true crime lovers for over 5 decades. Have you ever wondered what it's like to face a killer who plays mind games with the entire nation? A murderer who not only takes lives but taunts the police and public with cryptic messages that have baffled experts for decades. Tonight, we dive into the chilling world of the Zodiac Killer, one of America's most notorious and mysterious serial killers. Known for his brutal crimes and unbreakable ciphers, Zodiac's story is a twisted puzzle of terror, intellect, and unanswered questions. Join us as we peel back the layers of this dark saga, the victims, the threats, the codes, and the relentless pursuit of truth that continues even today. This isn't just a true crime story, it's a journey into the shadowy mind of a killer who remains at large in history. So sit back, stay alert, and let's unravel the terrifying mystery of the Zodiac Killer, a story of terror, secrets, and unanswered questions that might never fully be solved. Let's get started. Between the late 1960s and early 1970s, Northern California was gripped by a chilling presence that would haunt its communities for decades to come. A serial killer unlike any before emerged from the shadows, known only as the Zodiac Killer. This enigmatic figure was not content with simply committing horrific crimes, he sought to confound and terrorize the public through cryptic letters and unsolved ciphers sent directly to newspapers and law enforcement. Unlike typical criminals who vanish into obscurity, the Zodiac reveled in the spotlight, taunting authorities with puzzles that challenged even the brightest minds. His murders were brutal and calculated, each crime scene a puzzle piece in a dark game only he understood. Tonight, we unravel the origins of this terrifying saga, exploring the victims, the chilling letters, and the relentless manhunt that continues to captivate true crime enthusiasts around the world. Join us as we delve into a story of fear, mystery, and a killer who remains a ghost in the annals of American crime. Between the cold night of December 20, 1968, and the early 1970s, Northern California was gripped by a series of horrific attacks that baffled law enforcement and terrified the public. December 20, 1968, the Lake Berryessa attack. David Faraday, 17, and Betty Lou Jensen, 16, were parked on a remote gravel turnout near Lake Berryessa when they were ambushed. Witnesses later described a man approaching the car, ordering the couple to exit, and then shooting them both. The attack was brutal and efficient. David was shot once in the head, and Betty Lou was shot multiple times. The killer left no trace of his identity but left the community in shock. July 4, 1969, Vallejo double shooting. Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau were attacked in their parked car in Vallejo. The killer approached stealthily, blindfolded the victims, and shot them both. Michael survived the attack despite serious injuries and provided a description to the police, a crucial break in the case. His testimony described a man with a noticeable facial structure and features, which became part of the police sketches. August 1, 1969, the first letters and ciphers. Just weeks after the Vallejo attack, the Zodiac Killer escalated the terror by mailing letters to the San Francisco Chronicle, San Francisco Examiner, and Vallejo Times-Herald. These letters claimed responsibility for the murders and included a cryptogram, challenging the public and police to solve his coded message. The cipher, consisting of 408 symbols, was eventually cracked by a team of amateur cryptologists, revealing a disturbing message boasting about killing and collecting slaves for the afterlife. Subsequent letters and taunts. Over the next few years, Zodiac continued to send letters filled with cryptic puzzles, strange symbols, and chilling threats. Some letters included demands, such as the need for a billboard to be put up, or else more killings would follow. The killer's correspondence became a psychological weapon, sowing fear and fascination simultaneously. Additional attacks and claims. Though only a handful of murders were definitively linked to Zodiac by law enforcement, he claimed to have killed as many as 37 people. Some attacks were less clear, with potential victims surviving or cases remaining unresolved, adding to the mystery. Investigators examined numerous suspects, including Leigh Allen, a man whose profile and behavior attracted intense scrutiny but never resulted in conclusive evidence. The investigation's challenges. The Zodiac case challenged the limits of 1960s and 70s forensic science. Investigators grappled with limited physical evidence, inconsistent witness accounts, and the killer's own misinformation. Despite FBI involvement and advances in criminal profiling, Zodiac's identity remains unknown, and the ciphers continue to puzzle experts, with some remaining unsolved even today. This intricate blend of brutality, intellect, and mystery has cemented the Zodiac Killer as one of America's most enduring and terrifying cold cases, captivating generations who continue to seek answers. The Zodiac Killer case stands as a hallmark of criminal ingenuity and psychological manipulation, distinguished not only by the gruesome nature of his crimes but by his audacious use of cryptography and calculated taunts. His letters, saturated with ciphers and arcane symbolism, transformed the investigation into an intricate intellectual battle between hunter and hunted, a battle that has fascinated cryptographers, psychologists, and law enforcement for decades. The first cipher, known as the 408-symbol cryptogram, was a masterstroke of coded communication. It took a trio of amateur codebreakers, 2 schoolteachers and a college student, weeks of relentless analysis to unravel the message. The decrypted text was chilling in its casual cruelty, boasting of murders committed for fun and pleasure, while claiming to collect slaves for the afterlife. This message revealed a killer who sought not only to murder but to dominate the narrative, asserting psychological control over public fear and law enforcement efforts. Yet the Zodiac's true genius lay in the unsolved ciphers. 2 later cryptograms, containing complex patterns and symbols, remain impervious to definitive decryption, despite modern computational efforts and intense scrutiny. These unsolved puzzles have spawned a cottage industry of amateur cryptanalysts, each convinced they hold the key to unmasking the killer, fueling public intrigue and frustration alike. Beyond ciphers, Zodiac's letters were laced with sinister references, astrological signs, coded threats, and demands that blurred the lines between reality and psychological warfare. His threats to commit further murders unless his demands were met demonstrate a calculated intent to manipulate media coverage and law enforcement response, turning his own notoriety into a weapon. The demand to erect a billboard emblazoned with his symbol was not merely vanity, it was an assertion of power, a macabre claim to infamy. Suspect profiles have been exhaustively examined, but the lack of concrete forensic evidence hindered definitive conclusions. Leigh Allen, often the prime suspect, was scrutinized through handwriting analysis, eyewitness testimony, and circumstantial evidence, yet no indictment followed. The difficulty lay in the Zodiac's meticulousness, his ability to operate with precision and evade detection in an era before DNA profiling and sophisticated forensic databases. The interplay of limited technology, evolving investigative techniques, and the killer's own psychological acumen forged an almost insurmountable barrier. The Zodiac expertly exploited the era's investigative blind spots, using cryptic communications to sow confusion, fear, and fascination simultaneously. Today, the application of modern forensic technologies, such as DNA analysis, advanced linguistic forensics, and digital cryptography, offers renewed hope for breakthroughs. However, the Zodiac Killer remains an enigma, his true identity and motives locked behind layers of coded messages and shadowy speculation. This case epitomizes the intersection of brutal criminality and psychological complexity, a chilling testament to the mind of a killer who turned murder into a game. The Zodiac Killer's psychological profile remains one of the most perplexing and disturbing in criminal history. Unlike many serial killers who seek anonymity, the Zodiac actively courted attention, transforming his crimes into a public spectacle of terror. His communications reveal a man obsessed not only with murder but with control over victims, investigators, and the media. His letters were not mere threats, they were meticulously designed psychological weapons intended to provoke fear and confusion, demonstrating a cold, calculated intellect. Experts suggest the Zodiac possessed traits of a high-functioning psychopath, exhibiting charm, intelligence, and manipulativeness, while simultaneously lacking empathy or remorse. His ability to evade capture for years attests to a level of premeditation and strategic planning uncommon even among serial offenders. The cryptic ciphers he sent out served a dual purpose, providing intellectual stimulation to himself and psychological torture to those hunting him. These ciphers were complex puzzles, crafted with an understanding of cryptographic principles that suggested a mind both methodical and sadistic. Law enforcement agencies, initially unprepared for such a cunning adversary, were thrust into uncharted territory. The late 1960s marked the early days of criminal profiling and forensic science. Investigators relied heavily on emerging techniques like handwriting analysis and behavioral profiling, tools that were still rudimentary compared to today's standards. The Zodiac's use of multiple jurisdictions, crossing county lines, exploited the fragmented nature of law enforcement, creating obstacles in information sharing and coordinated response. Detectives painstakingly sifted through hundreds of witness statements, many conflicting and vague, trying to piece together a coherent description. The survivor's testimony from the Vallejo shooting provided a sketch, but the elusive nature of the killer meant leads frequently turned cold. The Zodiac's chilling ability to strike unpredictably, combined with his taunting correspondence, fostered a climate of fear that permeated the Bay Area. Investigative breakthroughs were sporadic, and despite the FBI's involvement, the case remained frustratingly unresolved. Yet, the relentless pursuit of justice in the Zodiac case catalyzed advancements in criminal psychology and forensic methods. It became a foundational case for profiling serial offenders, teaching law enforcement invaluable lessons about the psychology of killers who engage with the media and public as part of their modus operandi. The Zodiac's legacy is a haunting testament to the intersection of violence and intellect. His crimes were not random acts of passion but orchestrated performances of terror designed to unsettle a society and challenge its protectors. His ciphers, some still unsolved, continue to tantalize cryptologists and true crime enthusiasts, a chilling reminder of a mind that remains beyond reach. As decades have passed, the Zodiac Killer remains a specter haunting the collective consciousness, not just of Northern California but of true crime aficionados worldwide. His identity continues to elude definitive confirmation, a chilling reminder of how a single individual can wield fear as a weapon and evade justice despite monumental investigative efforts. The unresolved nature of his ciphers and cryptic letters only deepens the enigma. These unsolved puzzles have become a siren call to amateur and professional cryptanalysts alike, each drawn by the promise of finally unmasking the Zodiac's true self. Yet, each attempt also highlights the vast gulf between human intellect and the calculated mind behind these messages. What lessons does the Zodiac case offer to modern criminal justice? It underscores the necessity for interagency collaboration, advances in forensic technology, and a profound understanding of the psychology of offenders who seek not just to kill but to dominate the narrative surrounding their crimes. But perhaps the most unsettling question remains. Who was the Zodiac Killer? Was he a disturbed loner, a highly intelligent mastermind, or someone hiding in plain sight? Could he be among us even now, his secret buried in a forgotten cipher, waiting to be unlocked? This chilling mystery invites you, the audience, to weigh in. What are your theories about the Zodiac's true identity? Do you believe the unsolved ciphers hold the key? Join the conversation below and share your thoughts. Sources and references. FBI files on the Zodiac Killer, public domain. Zodiac by Robert Graysmith. San Francisco Chronicle Archives. FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit reports. Documentaries, Zodiac 2007, I Killed My BFF, Netflix. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of the darkest puzzles in American crime history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more deep dives into true crime mysteries. Until next time, stay curious, and stay safe.